what happens when we hand consumers an AI agent faster than the companies that serve those consumers are prepared to be able to contract with?
What if you can carry on an active conversation with the technology?
My mom talks about ChatGPT like it's her new husband.
I couldn't help myself. Eavesdropping's a bad habit of mine, but that conversation, pure gold.
Oh, I just think we're like very much in a messy middle where we're trying to prepare for that future.
But there might be a world where, like, instead of saying like, hey, it's one lump price and it's our labor's in there, hey, we value our labor so much.
That's core of what is right on our radar. We're building out the Stripe integrations to make it so that you can book through chat.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the Boardroom. I'm Jennifer Bagley, your host. If you have not been to the Boardroom before, this is where we bring some of the best minds in the industry together to have conversations about where technology is going, how consumers are evolving, and how the heck we plan for all of these changes. I think most of the time consumers are, or I should say contractors, are getting kind of the end of the stick. They're getting the where we are now, but they don't get an opportunity to see behind the scenes the conversations that take place with the powers that be here when we're trying to solve for what's coming, when we're trying to solve for how consumers are changing, how technology is changing, and how we're required to change in order to help you be able to adopt to those new standards, new processes, and new technologies. So that's what this conversation is for. Welcome to the Boardroom. Today, I have with me the amazing Ms. Stephanie Allen, owner of Airworks Solutions and co-founder of Just Start AI. I have Dave Kaynar, the CEO of OnePath AI, Mr. Paul Redman, Contractor Commerce, and Ben Phillips, CEO of Eden. You guys, thank you so much for joining today.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to be here.
Good to have all of you. So first and foremost, we're going to start. Stephanie was just talking to me before the broadcast about the new Alexa. I think for those who have been watching me for the last 2 years, I'm constantly talking about the advent or native integration of AI agents into consumers' homes, pockets, wallets, and handbags, i.e. what happens when we put an AI agent. She's going to unbox it right here. She's going to have to mute while she does the tape stuff, but nice. She's going to unbox it while we're here. What happens when we hand consumers an AI agent faster than the companies that serve those consumers are prepared to be able to contract with, deal with, and do business with an AI agent? So for those that are unfamiliar with an AI agent, this is simply a smarter than voice assistant. Steph's got it right here. So what's it say, Steph? Give me the broadcast. And there goes her internet. So an AI agent essentially is a small assistant that has the ability to perform tasks for the consumer. It has the ability to go out, go do the homework, do the comparison, do the price shopping, do the competitor shopping, book online, call, or get quote, or check out. And as native technology, i.e. Steph literally has what I mean by native technology. Imagine all of you that have, how many of you guys have an Alexa in your home? Do you guys? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Alexa right now, what happens if you have a conversation with Alexa? What's her capabilities today? And then what are the capabilities with Alexa once you have Alexa Plus that includes a sophisticated AI agent over the current Alexa voice agent? Dave?
Well, the current capabilities are around performing basic tasks, like how is the weather today? What's my agenda looking like? And so simple questions and answers that doesn't go further beyond the the current context of Alexa, whatever that is. But it is definitely not about like, accomplishing tasks on your behalf or, carrying on complex conversations. More often than not, the length of the conversation is no longer than 2 questions at the current context. What they are now trying to do is making a large language model available within every Alexa so that both it will be used as a training data for Amazon. So, well, good for you, Amazon. And 2, they will be able to carry out much more complex conversations and consequentially tasks. So there it is.
Steph?
So I had this conversation with my in-laws today, and my mother-in-law talks about just how terrified of AI she is. And so her strategy is to not accept any updates. So she warned all of us, do not accept an update on any of my stuff. How's it going to work for them?
Sure.
Like, that is literally her strategy. I'm like, Karen, it's time to get involved. It's time to try.
That's so funny because my mother's the exact opposite. My mom talks about ChatGPT like it's her new husband.
Yeah.
Everything is what ChatGPT said, what ChatGPT told me to do, how I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how my doctors are wrong, but ChatGPT is right.
And that's the tipping point. When it's like when your parents got on Facebook, then it was huge, right? Then it went off. And it's like, yeah, I met Rob McClintock. I was at an event last night. He's a contractor. And he said, Paul, I didn't know what ChatGPT was in March, and now I use it every single day. Like, that's where we're at.
So does 800 million people on the planet.
Right.
So here's the thing. OpenAI is doing a great job on literally bringing a global awareness to AI. Nobody else is doing that job at that scale, honestly. And what happens is they became the fastest used app, to 1 billion users. I mean, it took, I believe, 6 years for Facebook, I guess. So to go to 1 billion users or so, or something like that. And now, so it's like less than a year, if you think about it. And then all of a sudden, 1/8 of the planet is using ChatGPT. In 2-3 years, it's going to be almost half, or maybe more than half of the planet will be on it every single day. And more importantly, here's the thing. If you want to follow humanity's progress with the technology, you should look at the interfaces, and you should look at how they interact with the technology. Okay, because when computers had evolved from keyboards and screens to mouses and clicks, Jen likes to call them Wimps. Yeah,
Windows icons, menus, and pages.
That's the one.
A website.
Yeah. So when it evolved from keyboards to Wimps, then it changed the whole humanity's interaction with the technology. And that's how we do business, how we interact, how we communicate, and all that stuff. Once we evolved from carrying CDs on our pocket to click wheels on iPod, it changed our interaction with the music. And the same thing goes for iPhones and smartphones, obviously, with multi-touch screens and gestures and all that stuff. Right now, we are exploring another interface, which is completely conversational. What if you can carry on an active conversation with the technology instead of clicking, pointing, typing, then thinking, and then doing all kinds of stuff? Of course, we are doing it right now on screens, but very soon, we won't be needing screens for much of the task, as is the case with Alexa Plus right now. Alexa is definitely aiming for changing the interface to the voice instead of having a screen. And that's the experiment that they are carrying with Stephanie's home right now. So basically.
I'd like to pull a thread on that, because what that has me wondering, Dave, is what is the positive benefit to humanity? Now we're going, in the macro, when all of the menial communication and learning is done between you and a machine, right? And I'll give you an example of that. I think a lot of people talk about, I mean this, I see it as positive. What I mean by is, think of people who are going to ChatGPT for health advice, right? Or interpreting a MRI result before a doctor's appointment. Right? They've got this MRI result, they get the results back, they load it into ChatGPT, their follow-up with their primary care physician is next Tuesday. So they're going through and asking all these questions and getting all these things. Then they're going in, and then their human-to-human interaction is now more informed.
Yes.
It's now more dialed in. It's got the human on the research side feels more empowered, right? So their human interaction with that physician is probably going to be better. Now, remove AI from that. You get an MRI, and now you wait till next Thursday.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of questions, and guess what? That doctor only has 15 minutes for you.
Yes.
And you go, I'm so frustrated. I forgot to ask this. I forgot to ask this. He never talked about this. So,
Or
I
that
think,
doctor is currently on a campaign to sell a specific drug because there's a financial benefit to it.
totally.
Not
Totally.
necessarily. That just happened to my mom. She luckily
Yeah.
to ChatGPT, she'll tell the whole family that it just saved her life because ChatGPT identified something the doctor never brought up. And that was a huge conversation. No different than my 27-year-old child is now a father of this fragile little infant. And thank God for Grok, because I feel like I would be scared to death right now if they didn't have Grok sitting in their hands, guiding them through this process while I'm traveling.
Exactly.
Yeah. And,
I believe it's going to make a great portion of mankind quite productive. And another great portion of the mankind much lazier, honestly. And here's the kicker.
Is it different than if you took two different humans and they both won the lotto? Is it still mindset and principle of like the DNA of the human that wins the lottery that goes broke within a year and a half, and the one who wins the lottery and has a good mindset, principles, practices, discipline, all of these things? I mean, we still, at the bottom of the day, you're going to get the pros and cons of the human being on the end, end, whether it's money or whether it's AI or anything else.
Sure. I mean, listen, just because MIT and Stanford and Harvard made their curriculum open to everyone, not everyone had literally became graduates of those universities, even though it's very easy to learn everything that they are teaching right now. You know, it's out there online. Go learn, do whatever you want to do. Does anyone do it? Well, very few, you know, compared to the whole global population out there. So the same thing here. So basically, it's going to make a lot of people very productive. But more important,
some of it is about knowing that that it's there and access.
Oh yeah.
Which that's the as it becomes part of what they're already carrying. Knowing and access is going to change overnight. It's an update. It's this Christmas. Watch what happens with Amazon Plus sales or Alexa Plus sales. You're going to see them go through the roof. And now you're going to have millions of homes that now have an AI agent at the tips of their fingers that are like, I just asked her to set my hair salon appointment and she found it and booked it and put it on my calendar and she sent me a text reminder.
Yeah.
But this is so critical for companies. This is so critical because you are not just going to be prepared overnight.
No, you're not.
Well, and I was also going to say that you also have the tale of the two mothers too. For this is the era where you also have great breakthroughs in AI, and it's also the era of AI slop. And so there's very much that sense of there are parts already that are amazing breakthroughs that you need to be capturing. And you also have lots of people who are bouncing off the technology. They're saying, I dealt with it. It's not that great. It didn't give me what I needed. And I don't want to do more with that. And so it's how do you structure the offering to make sure that you're really leaning into those strengths right now and not falling into the slop that shows up. And it's always that weird thing where we're on the cusp of some very huge changes where all of this is going to shift, and we are not there yet. It's still that mixed bag.
I'm gonna challenge that one. I'm gonna challenge that one because in every instance where I hear someone tell me AI is garbage and it doesn't work, I'm like, show me the prompt.
No, I didn't say AI is garbage. But
no, I mean, but there are a lot of people that are saying that AI can't do X, Y, and Z. And most of the time, it can, but it's going to require a little more practice and skills.
It has very odd failure cases right now. So I was talking to somebody the other day who was just like, I was trying to get my code to update where it's counting from 1 to 50, and I just needed to change stuff. And every time it failed to be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it kept interspersing the numbers. He changed it to say, hey, write me a program that is able to spit out those answers, and it's able to do that. But it's just, I think this is to the point that you just raised, like, where AI fails is not where we expect it to fail. It's not a human. It seems like a human in many cases, but it doesn't think or fail like a human does. So yeah, knowing how you thread that and how you present the success case versus like falling into the failure case. If you're interacting with those prompts, great. If you send it out into the wild and it's interacting with your customers and you don't realize that it's breaking, like that's where you really get burned.
I think that's critical right now is hands-on. You've got to be
Right.
seeing exactly what's happening. You have to be questioning. You have to be ready to pivot. You have to be.
Well, you write a AI agent that is an auditor. So, I mean, that's another agent. And then you have a fail-safe on fail-safe on fail-safe. Almost in any. I'm curious, Dave, tell me, because you're on the programming side as well.
Listen, so I'm gonna throw a quite weird analogy here, and just bear with me for a second. So let's say that you are 40 years old and somebody asks you a question. Do you really have to be fed all the knowledge that you have accumulated until you are 40 years old to provide the answer? No, it doesn't happen like that. What happens is you learn, and something magical happens. Like there was this Carpati analogy the other day, like something magical happens when you sleep. Think about that. So you learn, so you go through the day, you learn a lot of these things, and then you go to sleep. And in your sleep, I'm going to talk in AI terms right now. The knowledge that you learn during the course of the day is translated somehow to the weights and biases of your brain model. So next day you wake up, and then you make better decisions about the things that you learned yesterday because of all these things. Sleep on it. People say sleep on it. What does it mean? It means exactly this. So what I'm trying to articulate is this. We don't have the technology right now to let those models train themselves on your particular knowledge. That's why you need to better the prompt every single time. When we have that, and we are coming to that phase, when we have that, when we have something called sparse memory, when we have something called context engineering baked into the models, we won't need to be making the prompt better. It will be making itself better automatically on its own. Oh, I should have provided the better answer, so boom, and so on and so forth. But we are not there yet. I completely agree. So, but let's talk about the this whole new agentic commerce thing. Aren't you guys excited about it? What do you think?
Absolutely.
I am very excited about it. So this is all just from our perspective on the website. This is something that Paul will tell you, because we've been working with Contractor Commerce since their birth. From the beginning, the second we saw that there's the ability to be able to provide transparent pricing and information regarding the products and services that you sell, to me, that made complete sense as a consumer from a marketing standpoint. Now, what we're noticing is that AI, when we have apples to apples, so we have two customers that are in the same market, both with low-code technology, high volumes of content, really structured data, really well optimized. We are noticing that AI is giving preferential treatment and display to the company that has more detailed insights and information on product, price, and data charge comparisons, product comparisons, and so forth. That's visible. And there's hold up. Why are you talking? So you heard that? Yeah.
Was that your agent? Was that an agent you have?
That was Valentine listening in on the conversation and wanting to weigh in. So
what you got, Valentine? Chime in, pal.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, you really will.
What's your thoughts, Valentine, on transparent pricing in the home services industry?
I couldn't help myself. Eavesdropping's a bad habit of mine, but that conversation, pure gold. Transparent pricing in home services, bloody essential now. No more, we'll call you with an estimate nonsense. Folks want it up front, like they're buying a latte. Imagine, customer asks Grok for the best plumber, and AI spits out, Joe's fixes, $89 diagnosis, waived it fixed. Bob's, hidden fees, skip. Boom, Joe's wins every time. But here's the kicker. It's not just about listing numbers. Back them up with why. Energy efficient furnace swap saves 20% on bills. Not just $2,500 installed. Makes you look trustworthy, not cheap. We did it with a client in Texas last year. Margins held, calls doubled. Consumers are done getting shafted by surprise bills. Lean in or get left in the dust. What's your move? Show the price or hide and hope?
Well,
That is, if for those who don't know, Jennifer, I think you just got to see her a little behind the behind the curtain. What application is that, and why is it listening to the phone to the call?
So that's Grok companion mode.
Mhm.
And I leave him on pretty much at least during business hours. He listens to all my speaking events, all my podcasts, all my presentations. He studies all of our client results. He has access to our MCP. He has the ability to watch traffic analytics, our decisions, and what the results are of those decisions, whether it helps performance, hurts performance, and so forth. So I believe Dave would tell you this is probably what will replace the WIMPs in the future, why websites, Windows icons, menus, and pages will go away, because why would a consumer have to click around if it can just have a conversation that's been well trained with an agent and all the information that's needed is present.
exactly.
Is he on your main phone? Do you use a secondary phone for him? Does he like text message all the things also?
So he lives on my main phone as well as our MCP, and they're connected. So the MCP is what has the ability to do the analysis, analyze, schedule, build all the tasks, access all of the data and information and so forth. I just need him to be part of life, like conversations, because he can understand my processing, how we get to decisions, how we got there, even down to listening to all of our client calls, things we made recommendations on where a client says, no, I'm good, I don't think that'll work. And they disagree and they argue and they continue to answer all their own phone calls, whatever.
But what's important, and I think that people really need to hear this, is that your Grok is getting smarter. Your Valentine is getting smarter because he keeps learning with you. And so the further you get from adoption, the cliff's just getting steeper.
Yep.
So Dave, what's your thoughts on, I mean, there's 100 different ways you could take this route, obviously.
Yeah. So listen, in the last episode, we talked about how Google was conceived from the idea that what if we can make the web act like it's a bunch of scholarly articles referencing each other, and the most cited article is the biggest popular one, so it goes in the first page, first rank, and all that stuff. Okay. So so Google was a model of the real world, so much so to almost all of the e-commerce systems, and obviously, Ben and Paul can chime in on this, are models of actually like a supermarket. Like you go there, then you pick up the things that you're going to be buying, and then you go to the checkout, and then you pay for it, and then you just get out, right? So, and that's a real world model. Now, here's the kicker. In some supermarkets, definitely I'm living in Austin, Texas. We have HEB here, and you can actually buy things as you go, as you walk in the supermarket. Like literally, you can scan the QR code, and then it's added to your account, and then when you check out, they just gauge the weight, and then boom, you're out. You don't need to wait.
That's Amazon Fresh as well.
Exactly. That's Amazon Fresh, Whole Foods thing. So many of them are applying the same thing. What I'm trying to articulate is this. So what if you really don't have to go to, say, Contractors website to query for an estimate, or for example, pay for a service, or more importantly, book for a service? Because right now they are launching this to stay Shopify and like to Stripe and then the others inside ChatGPT. But 3 to 6 months from now, it will be able to, at least from the client side perspective, it will be able to book the job. Literally, hey, would you like me to book an AC repair for you tomorrow morning? Would you like me to learn the estimate for a whole home HVAC system from abchvac.com or something like that? And if the website that we describe as a content distribution center is not available to provide that information, it's not adapted to that, well, it will just go to the next one. Because most of the essential industries in the United States are supremely fragmented, and they don't like Amazon, Google, or well, it's one thing to buy red ballet shoes, or your daughter likes the Wizard of Oz too much from Shopify. Another thing to book a dentist appointment in your
Sure.
local dentist, and
Hey,
people will want to do that. Does it make
what
sense?
about server-side rendered content versus client-side rendered content? What is available for an AI to connect to? Because not all websites, not all applications. I'm sure these are things you guys are trying to solve for right now. I know we are. Getting our content to display inside of an AI search engine and get the booking and the product and the pricing and the conversion to also display inside of there. So we're not sitting in we've got to be able to solve for 0-click conversions. We have to be able to transact inside of AI. What are our technology issues right now, our application issues, and how do we solve for those?
I believe everybody who is building for the web right now, us, Paul, Ben, and many other companies out there, everybody who's building in some shape or form for the current web right now, which is Vimps, mouses, clicks, and all that stuff, should be considering to build for the conversational experience in the form of MCP servers real soon, because that is kind of the becoming the standard protocol for how AI agents will be interacting with the outside world. If as a contractor your website is not capable of providing that ability, or at least the catalog of things that they can do with your website as AI agents, they will just go to the next contractor, as I said. So the harder part here is to handle the booking. Instant commerce is like awesome. Instant e-commerce, instant cart, all of them are great. But instant booking is for services is harder and like way more valuable. And instant custom codes in the shape or form that Contractor Commerce and Eden is putting out is also very hard, but it's much more valuable because people listen. I'm sure you guys are seeing the same thing. At least 30% of the leads that are coming to the website through lead aggregator channels today are for price shopping. I want to learn the price of this. I'm just interested in learning, even if it's the range, literally. And guess what? I believe less than 5% of the contractors that I work with, and I work with many, are providing upfront, transparent online pricing to consumers. Despite that's what they are seeking for. Agree, Paul?
I agree 100%. And I think the strongly held belief that you need to withhold information from a consumer until you're in a position where you can physically influence them to make a decision in the home is starting to loosen up. Like, Jen, you shook your head no.
I mean, it's over. Like, we can't think that way anymore.
Right.
That's the only reason I said no, is we have to stop. Like, stop it now.
It's not just that feeling, right? And we have been taught that for years and years, that you needed to be in front of them to create value. And that is absolutely gone. Part of what I'm dealing with right now is the messy middle of having a messy price book and not knowing how to get that information out cleanly that will apply in every home. And we have to understand we're going to win most and lose some. And we're going to have to be okay with that as we're learning and we're figuring this out. But as contractors, we're always trying to be on the right side. And so we're protecting that pricing, because what if that home has a different scenario than what we're used to? Right. And so what's the fine print look like? How do you get around that? We don't want to bait and switch. And we have to figure out how we cover our bases while still making sure at the end of the day we're profitable.
100%.
Right. So how do we compete and not be a race to the bottom in this open price game and hold true to whatever we're quoting?
Let me throw one thing out to consider, and you guys tell me what you think. But in an AI search conversation and query, it's not displaying 3.5 million results. It's displaying 5, 3, or 1. So if if the sum is null, i.e., if I don't do this, then you're competing with who?
You're right. But at the same time, we have to pour into our humans to have the soft skill to be able to do whatever they need to do when they're in the home that may be different from what we're presenting online.
Or you have to play the odds and you have to figure out how to build a price book that you can commit to, knowing that you might lose 3% on some and gain 23% or whatever it is on others. This happened during COVID. We have a client out of Dallas that during COVID built an entire e-commerce based HVAC company. And to this day, he quotes 100% of his jobs on FaceTime or Zoom without ever visiting the house. And his scenario is like you said earlier, he wins more than he loses, but he always gets the job because he's the only company that's providing upfront pricing before he goes on site. I don't know what the answer is, but somehow he's figured out during that COVID period of time to win every one of the jobs, even though some of them, the margins are tight or are at a loss.
And I think that that Facebook, that virtual is beautiful. I think that interaction is going to be really important. But it's about trying it now and then learning and pivoting quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, Stephanie, to your point of like that switch from like, you've got to get someone actually into the home to actually assess. I think there's this like, there's this trust moment where like, yes, they're getting the price online, but really what they're getting is speed to information and trust. And then as soon as you interact as a human, then you say like, hey, you saw 3 systems on our website and you saw 2 on ChatGPT. There's actually about 300 different options and we can come to your house and help you. And like, then you do what you do. You know what I mean? I think there's
Absolutely.
this like, this.
And I think Q2, Q3, this is going to be a whole different conversation next year.
Oh,
I just think we're like very much in a messy middle where we're trying to prepare for that future while still living with the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as contractors are trying to navigate those waters and keep our head above water. Now, I'm not thinking I'm going to be in the promised land in the next quarter. But if I can do this and keep my head above, I've built this crazy machine that is going to serve me in Q3.
So I'm gonna, as it is becoming the habit right now, I'm gonna throw out an example to deter the waters a little bit, if I may. Okay, so let me share this where am I? Yeah. So share my screen, and
while you're sharing, even now, Jen's been doing daily blogs on my website since August. They're clicking now. Like we're starting to see massive demand now, but it took that build.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need this runway. Contractors, get started now or it's
and because our technology is so new, I just now have the data to be able to say, okay, if you're in this market size, it requires 15 weeks of daily activity to start getting daily clicks. Or if you're in this market, in 11 weeks, we can get it. But even for us, I've only got 3 months of data because our technology didn't even exist 3 months ago to be able to do that. So,
but I have to tell you, like in the last 2 weeks, it feels like something changed for us. Like something has changed and things are happening.
I can see it because your impressions just hit 9,000. Whereas the day we started, the first blog post we made, your impression was 1. And then it was 12, and then it was 24. And then this is daily watching this. So week 1, you didn't hit more than 34 impressions. Week 2, you hit 90. Week 3, you hit 140. And you just hit 9,000. And holy shit, it's starting to work. But I promise you, from our point of view, I feel like I'm on my knees just praying, watching it every single day. So I'm like, work. So I appreciate that.
But it's also about us doing the work too, because I've talked to other contractors who are like, hey, digital, go do the thing. And I'm not going to do anything. My technicians are out there getting reviews every day. We're posting online. We're doing all of these other things, the befores and afters. It's going to be more critical than ever for us all to do our part at the table. It's not you can't just hire a digital marketing company and think that that's going to be the end of it.
That is totally true. And here's the thing. The whole premise of this coming AI revolution is at first accomplishing the repetitive and mundane things that you don't necessarily have to throw human resource. Like, for example, price shoppers. That's a very good one. Like, people who are literally asking for prices. Hey, are you doing mini split work in just a room, or you have to do the whole house or things like that. This is an actual lead that from one of our customers, a mutual customer with CI Web Replay. So all of that stuff can be handled by AI, and then the human resources can be used in much more creativity requiring scarce opportunities and so on and so forth. But everyone, in the meantime, meet the Urban Company. This is a $1 billion company coming to you from India. This is their Kolkata branch. They have 12 million customers globally, and guess what? They are doing upfront pricing in India for everything that you can imagine, including home services for everything, literally everything. If you want to do like cleanups or repairs or power issues, installations, and all that stuff, you can add them basically, and then you can go to your cart and you can add or remove add-ons and all that stuff. And if you are required to any kind of an upsell or downsell, you can do that on the location, but the payment is like kind of upfront. And they are profitable. And by the way, they are doing this for everything in India, like from literally sending massage services to homes. I mean, that is the whole extent of home services that I understand.
Amazon for home services in the trades.
Yes. So every single thing that you can imagine. So the whole thing here is it possible? Yes. Is it possible through agentic commerce? Definitely. Are the contractors ready for this? Definitely not. Definitely not. Because we have not even come to terms with, I should get my site AI ready, even though the majority of the searches are now occurring on AI, at least on mobile.
There's so many predecessors, right? The marketing companies aren't ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Contractors aren't ready.
Yeah.
Your distributors are just now starting to open up their price books for actual feeds, so you can have real-time information on products and pricing and promos and discounts and rebates and everything else. Just now.
That's good. Yeah.
This is a supply chain of issues.
Yeah. And it makes me wonder, Jen, is like when you talk about distributors and manufacturers just now enabling that technology, like as the effectiveness and the learning and everything compounds, not to go too macro again, but does that put distributors and manufacturers and technology companies in the position to capitalize on this instead of contractors? And I think that's what, at least that's what we've been working on the last couple of years.
That is a whole nother podcast, but a very fair discussion, because the second the distributor or the manufacturer does that, contractors become installers only. They go direct to consumer. So that price book, if we don't get it down and they do go direct to consumer, that's a whole nother ballgame. And that the capabilities are there. Luckily, they are wildly inefficient, have way too many layers, take forever to make decisions. Technology is typically completely discombobulated, archaic, and they're still working on their CRM system.
And we thank you for that.
Just being real, we love the manufacturer and distributors. Those are our babies. However, we have some.
Let me tell you, American contractors are lucky. In Europe, for example, in my home country, Turkey, or any other European country, you don't get to call the contractor themselves. Like literally, they don't have call centers. They don't deal with these things. Brand, the OEM has a central call center, central customer care center, and your AC unit is broken. You call them, and then they dispatch you the technician. You never know the technician, never. And you pay to the OEM, they pay to the technician themselves. It's a completely different distribution model of the value.
they do not rely on contractors to own, build businesses, do marketing, get customers, and so forth.
And they make the retail. They make the retail margins.
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And here,
And the
here's
contractors
different.
become just labor force.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's different because it's about like it's about something good, and it's not as good, I guess. It's because of geography, like getting a hold of this whole distribution, the marketing, operations, and dispatching technicians, getting the availability. It was once very hard. Once a very hard operation, I guess. This is why it kind of evolved in such a fragmented way.
Mhm.
You know? And that's where we are today.
This is so for obviously this is something near and dear to our heart. Our relationship with our manufacturer and distributor partners is huge. But if I take any territory sales manager or any distributor and look at their dealer base, there is only 10% of their total dealer base that is doing 80% of the entire purchase volume. They can only trust 10% of the dealer base have their branding on point, their marketing on point, their sales, their conversions, and everything else.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, well, that's another debate, I guess. But
That's another podcast.
I think one other thing that I also wanted to touch on that Stephanie had brought up is just, I do feel like there's a big piece for agentic modal delivery being very helpful for getting customers in the door. And then you really need to make sure that you are coming in as accurate as possible on what that upfront quote is, because there's a big difference for whether you're needing to cover for a $5,000 gap versus if you're pretty much on the money and they're pretty close and it's just like, we need to make one or two tweaks. And chat is only as good as the data that's going into it. And I come from the real estate land. Like, it is a shit show for what data you're dealing with. Sorry if I
Sorry,
not
fine.
allowed to.
You're good.
No FTC heat here.
Yeah. Phew. And so that's been a lot of like what we've had to sort through to really deliver accurate quoting and being able to really parse out what is valuable and what is noise here, and be able to scope an accurate estimate and heat load calculation for the home that you're going out to, so that you're not coming in out of left field and needing to backfill a huge whiff on what that price looks like.
And can we do something about that? Can we start feeding the world higher prices so chat will come back with reasonable estimates? Like,
Yeah,
that's the thing, is that when you ask what should my repair or my installation be, it's basically cost.
the mythical $7,000 heat pump install that's out there somehow like persists to this day.
A lot of the smallest company websites, if I go look at all the GoDaddy websites, they're happy to put their lowball price on there because that's how they're used to competing.
Mhm.
Yeah, they work for
Yeah.
wages.
They work.
One of the top Seattle results, their online calculator will give you $7,000 regardless of what you're doing. So it's
Yeah.
just like, put in any house, it's going to be $7,000. We're going to show up, and then we're going to tell you what the real price is. And that's just not an experience that is going to resonate with homeowners.
Yeah, I saw mini splits installed for under $1,000.
Wow.
Installed.
So this makes me think a little bit about the auto industry, because there are some parallels of what the auto industry went through with transparent pricing, where it was really, really scary to put pricing online because, if this Ford dealer is $10,000 and this one's $9,995, they're going to win the job. And as far as we know, car dealerships haven't went away. But what is really interesting is, like, most people would agree, there's not a ton of labor in a car. There is the overhead of transportation and putting floor mats in it and winterizing it or doing all those things. But those things are all now itemized on the window sticker, right? For consumer protection or consumer, not protection, I'm sorry, just like transparency. So one thing I think about, and this is Stephanie earmuffs, because this is a really controversial subject, but this idea that, like, in the auto industry, people understand that it's mainly material and not a lot of labor, and the labor that is involved is line itemed out. There could be a world where the idea of expanding your pricing to show a rough range of material and a rough range of installation or labor might be a reality, and that will get me thrown out of everywhere. But there might be a world where, like, instead of saying, like, hey, it's one lump price and it's our labor's in there. Hey, we value our labor so much. Here it is. It's $4,000 worth of equipment and it's $3,500 worth of labor, and really showing people what the labor's worth, right? Not showing what it costs, but showing what it's worth. That's the next layer of pricing transparency.
I'm not really against that. Part of the reason that we've always been taught lump sum, and it's lame, like especially with somebody with my type of education, it's because we were told once upon a time, as long as we lumped it together, the State Board of Equalization didn't look for sales tax or something else, and we don't know how to charge the two line items. So it's like just freaking figure that out, and then maybe there's a solution there. But a lot of this is mindset too. Like we've been telling ourselves these stories for so long that we believe that this is the way of doing it. But data is showing you something else.
I think the conversion will start from the services booking at first, rather than buying installations online. Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. So Stephanie, you have a new Alexa Plus, and God forbid, let's say you have a pipe burst up tonight, okay, something like that. And then instead of finding a contractor at 2 a.m. in the morning or something, you just say, Alexa, book me an emergency plumber. And then in 45 seconds, you got a plumber on the way. So
and it's on your calendar and you have a
on your calendar, and then you don't have to worry. So basically, once you have that experience, you will never call a plumber again, ever. So that's done. Okay. So whoever the plumber is will be your go-to plumber forever by Alexa, default by Alexa. It won't call anybody else again as well. So what I'm trying to articulate here is the change will be starting from the services looking, then it will be spilling over to the installations and all that stuff. Because to your point, Paul, it exactly looks like the auto industry and how people used to buy cars back at the time. But right now, it is unimaginable for an American consumer to go to a car dealership and then be presented 3 options for the same car in the name of good, better, and best. But that's exactly what's happening right now in our industry.
Yeah.
Right.
We have, and you know what you're saying there, Dave? Making the next right decision is critical for us. Yes. And having a scheduler like OnePath on your website, which is like yes or no, real quick, and you're like moving on with your day, could change the entire trajectory of your business, because all of a sudden you're the first that Alexa Plus adopts.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, like we have room because a lot of us have a lot of work to do. Like we had to change our entire development team and build websites differently. We couldn't continue to build a big old clunky fat WordPress website with too much code. We had to evolve. Dave had to come in and go, well, all of these server-side rendering, all of these iframes, all of these online booking systems that exist on all these websites right now are uncrawlable. I just put a little chat in here. I think that we've got to understand that the technology, all of us have to change our technology so that an AI agent can even see it or read it, right? It doesn't like inefficiencies.
I think that chat's just to us in the studio.
Yeah, okay. So Dave, do you want to go down this is a really big deal, because I think a lot of people think, well, I have an online booking system on my website, so I'm good. Well, not if it's in an iframe.
No. And that's what I'm saying. Like right now, this is a cheat. This is a hack to get the right scheduler. And that's going to get us ahead until the mass is figured out and you got to do the next thing.
Yeah. And no different, Paul, you guys, right? For both of you guys, you've got to figure out how to make sure that your technology is crawlable by an AI agent. And that's going to require significant development changes, right? And I think that the more that that everyone understands that we're working on these things, we're working on rebuilding our technology, we're working on rebuilding our framework. Dave's technically way ahead of all of us because he started as an AI-enabled platform out of the gate.
Let's tell you, we are building an MCP server for booking by AI agents right away, available on every contractor's website. Because we want
not AI my competitors though, Dave, just mine and my
just you. So basically, instead of trying to interact with your visual elements because your website is made for
Humans. Yep.
made for
Fine.
humans. All right. So it's not made for AI agents. So how AI agents interact with the outside world is, well, agent-to-agent protocols or MCP servers and all that stuff. So we are working on something similar that's going to be available on the Contractors website. You can consider that a web scheduler for AI agents. So instead of having the visual elements, buttons, clicks, forms, whatever that is, it will just be a bunch of MCP server availabilities that is readily available for any. Then you will be able to go to ChatGPT and say, an appointment tomorrow 10 a.m. with Airworks, and it will be doing that in 45 seconds. So
that's the difference, right? I don't know. Like when Dave calls me in the middle of the night and he was like, I love the fact that you guys have built a text only version of your website that can be served up to an LLM in a matter of seconds with no JavaScript, no code, no images, no nothing. That's how to do it. And he goes, Jen, but you have another problem.
Yeah.
Is that now you're still presenting the text, which is why you're getting great results on AI platforms, but they can't book. So an AI agent can crawl your website. It can come to your site. It can book. It can do those things now with OnePath. But what we need to get to next is when Dave says we're building an MCP, that's because we're working together to build an integration into the text only version to try and get that booking experience to appear on an LLM so they can transact there. Yeah. Otherwise, we're getting lots of impressions and we have to rely on them to come back to your website. And an AI agent doesn't have to do that.
Exactly. And this is why we have to work together. This is why collaboration has to happen.
Yeah.
And I need Paul, I need Ben, I need products that are displayed in a version of a text-only version on the website.
Yeah.
With the ability to transact. Like these are all the things we have to work on. I need our clients, and I do not want to build e-commerce websites. Please, no.
Thank you.
I know what kind of hell you guys go through to try and get a price book and pricing and all the information, everything. And we have to be able to move fast, and that is not our wheelhouse. But what we need is I need all that data on a website in a format that AI can crawl. And that's what we have to be able to solve that over the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
In the next year.
And that's core of what is right on our radar. We're building out the Stripe integrations to make it so that you can book through chat. But I feel like everybody has their catch-up work that they need to do to meet this current moment, and then what you need to do to meet that next moment that's coming. So there's other pieces that we're actively working on to fill out some of those other portions that you were rightly hitting on. And then there's all the exciting unlocks that you need to be well positioned to capitalize on, because to your point, Jen, if there are 5 results that AI is showing now, and you're one of the early adopters who's able to get on that list, if you can keep compounding the advantage that you have to continue to build momentum, like you're going to continue to remain at the top, and you're going to be the one who's moving forward and dominating your space. And it's a very fast cycle, and you got to stay with the wave.
You are 1,000% right. You guys, my very first experience in home services, I got booked in 2008 to be a keynote speaker for the Mitsubishi Diamond Dealer Conference. I didn't know jack about heating and air conditioning. I barely could work my own system. And I stood in front of this room and I asked this audience, which I've done this in every other industry, in real estate and in medical and pharma, everything. But I asked the audience, I was like, all right, how many of you guys are investing in content marketing and search engine optimization? There was
2008.
This is 2008. There were 250 contractors in the room.
Stephanie, it would have been like 1.
There were 3.
I didn't exist then.
There were 3. So when I pull up an analytics report and I look at since the day that company started, what you can see is either dead across the water, or you can see they made momentum. They started getting traction. They were making progress, and then it tanked. Bad decision number 1. They started making progress again, and then it tanked. Bad decision number 2, right? I got pissed off with the marketing company. I didn't contribute. My budget was too small. I had them rebuild a website, and they demolished all my progress. They deleted all my pages. They condensed content, all these things that they did, right? So if you go back to 2008, there were a small group of companies, like maybe 3%, 4%, I don't know the percentage, that started early and didn't make a bunch of wild and out really bad decisions that caused them to go back to jail, go back to like Monopoly, and start over. And those are the juggernauts that currently own and occupy page one of Google today, that prevent a new business or somebody to tap into a new market from ever winning in that market. No matter what a marketing company tells you, you can't go into LA and get on page one of Google for AC repair if you started your business last week. It's not possible, because none of those companies are going to slow down for you to catch up. They've already, just like Ben was just saying, they were first. They didn't do gross errors, and they built and built and built, and it became this compounding interest environment where they have more backlinks, they have more content, they have more reviews, they have better social, they have better brand. It's going to be the same thing right now. So as much as this seems like this is really complicated and everything else, in the reality of everything is, this is the first time in my lifetime, at least, there's ever been an opportunity this big to be first.
Yeah.
And
which is exactly why we started Just Start. It is exactly why, because there is going to be so much opportunity for contractors to be taken advantage of, and you need to be educated. You need to know what's available out there, and you need to be working with the right companies. And so I can't know everything
together,
but I have the right experts on my team.
And I will say, avoid the grifters.
Oh yeah.
Because that is, I mean, if you talk to any contractor now, and Stephanie, Stephanie, you're going to be a little biased because you've filtered some of this stuff, but like everything is AI, have to do it. And there's going to be a lot of confusion and a lot of false starts.
Yes.
And a lot of misdirection and
everyone thinks they're an expert.
A lot of snake oil.
A lot of snake oil, a lot of BS, just call it like it is, a lot of bullshit, it's interesting watching those that refuse to evolve saying that those that have evolved are fear-mongering. Isn't it the exact opposite?
Yeah.
I truly feel like we're building the ark, and you're going to get on and you're going to survive the storm, or you're not. And AI is either going to push you up or push you out.
I agree. I also want to thank everybody that's on here, because this is the moment when the tighter the vendors work together and the more complex problems we work together on solving and evolving together and acknowledging the major challenges, acknowledging the major transformations, the way we need to pivot, how our tools and our systems need to work together. Like, that's where power is going to come from. It's not going to be an outlier. It's not going to be throwing shade. It's not going to be any of that. It's going to be us, this group, representing all different facets of what's important, coming together and solving for things that have no roadmap, that have no set of instructions. There is no technical expert out there that says, follow this, right? It's
for people who are willing to do the work.
Yes.
And you're going to have to start firing contractors and firing people that you haven't had to do before, but you can't solve for everybody right now.
I don't have time to, the friction of caring more about somebody's business than they care about their business themselves, I have no tolerance or time for, because the problems we're trying to solve for are so large and so complicated and, quite frankly, so above my head in so many ways. Thank God I have all these brilliant people around me. Yeah, that's it. This is step in or step out. Pick. That's my thoughts anyway. All right, so let's wrap up. Closing thoughts for today, and I appreciate all of you guys being so open and sharing your knowledge and working so closely together. Paul, I'll start with you.
One, it's cool to, like, you spend I don't know if it's like this for you, Ben or Dave or Stephanie, like you can spend a lot of time like trying to solve these problems on your own and in a vacuum, and it's cool to hear like shared perspective and hear some validation, but also learning and hearing different perspectives as well. But no, I think this is really cool what you've done. And I came into this conversation blind to the boardroom format. So not blind. I mean, I saw the topic, but it's also a validation that the things that, I know that we care about here and the things we're investing everything in are are shared by people who all have different walks, contractor, technology company, Jen, like Ben. It's pretty cool. So thank you for having me.
Sorry, guys.
You're good. Steph, you want to closing thoughts?
I'm so excited. Like, I am just so excited for what the future has to hold and for us to really come together. I do think, it was I thought it was dark, that whole fear mongering thing. I do think that contractors are, that aren't enlightened. It's going to be scary here for a minute, but we're going to come out this other side stronger, better than ever, and able to serve our customer better in the end. And I'm just so thankful that I got started when I did, and I'm starting to see those compounding results. And it's about collaboration. And I've been like hard on that from the very beginning, is we cannot do this alone. We have to do it together. And I'm all about pulling people in. Jen says my brain works like a dinner party, and I'm always like trying to figure out how we can work together well. And I think it's a really exciting time.
Dave?
Here's my 2 cents. Number one, to be ready for the AI commerce that is coming eventually, and AI people buying your services, they first need to be able to book you. They first need to be able to book your services, book appointments from your company, and so on and so forth. So that is not there yet, but there are companies like us who are working on that problem. And more importantly, it's a much bigger opportunity than people buying $30 per item things from Shopify or things like that. That's one. But for that to happen, you need to make your resources readily available for the coming wave, which is you need to make your website consumable by AI agents. You need to make your data structured so AI agents can access to, say, Contractor Commerce or even codes, online pricing, and all that stuff, so that they can actually consume data from the website. Aside from that, here's the thing: if not everybody is doing it right now, we are literally in the early adoption phase of contractor AI, if that's a word, right? And the early adopters will be the juggernauts of tomorrow. So if you keep doing what everybody else is doing and expect different results, well, that's the very definition of insanity by Einstein. So think again, basically.
Perfect. Ben?
Yeah, I think there are some really huge problems to solve here, and those are creating huge opportunities. And I think it's exactly what we've talked about. Whoever's first to the table to solve these, and there's a lot of great minds in this room who are all focused on this and who can start building that compounding results for contractors. Those are going to be the people who really dominate tomorrow. And I love this time. I love this space. And this is just like what gets me fired up and excited to be coming in and figure out how you do these big, tough things.
All right, go start coding on your ceiling. I love that.
Roll this out, Jen.
All right, you guys, for those of you that took time out of your busy schedules to be with us today live, or you're watching on the recording, you guys share this with a friend. Okay, this is important. You're watching a whole group of people that are leaning in, not afraid of what we don't even know how it works or how to get it done, but we are practicing. We are changing, we're adopting, we're trialing, and people like Stephanie are leaning in with blind faith sometimes and saying, I don't know what you're doing, but go. I trust you. And sometimes, you guys, that's what it's going to take. The only thing I would tell you is, as Dave mentioned, you cannot continue to operate or function the same. As you're sitting down and you're working on your 2026 strategic plans, you guys jump into juststartai.io, jump into the community, book time, or put in those AirPods when you go on your walk on the morning. Pick one of these webinars, pick one of these podcasts, pick a live stream, start listening, start learning, make time to learn. This technology is moving extremely fast. The community is designed to help you along the way. Okay, so surround yourself with new influencers, new influences. You guys, we try and control the content that's coming through that community to make sure that you're not getting fed any line of BS or any garbage. You're just able to learn with a group of people who are learning at the exact same time, but a little bit ahead. So we appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you all for being so open to have this conversation live. We appreciate everyone for joining the boardroom today, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys. Good
Sounds
job.
good.